get started by sharing my screen. I'm going to give you a small introduction to Teams, and then I'm going to show you how we're using Teams for project management. And then we'll talk a little bit about OneDrive and how Teams is integrated with OneDrive so you can easily share files amongst teams and channels. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen with all of you. Good deal. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Yes, no? Okay. Good deal. Awesome. So this is Microsoft Teams. This is the desktop version of Teams. You see it's live here. So there's a couple of different ways you can access Teams. You can access Teams online through the Office 365 online app. You can go to office.com, access it there. I prefer to use a desktop version of this app. I feel like it's more robust and it easily integrates with other tools that I have the desktop version of Microsoft. But you can use it both ways. So a lot of you probably have used Teams. There's tons of cool features. I'm just going to start with this menu over here on the left-hand side. There's a couple of different things that you notice. Here's an activity feed. This just shows me what's happening within my Teams group. I have chats and things happening. The next icon here is for chat. So these are just general chats. This is chats that I have with other UA employees where we can communicate back and forth rather than emailing. A lot of people, I believe, download Teams and they use just this feature. So this is a great feature just for general information sharing communication. We have this Teams tab. So if you click on Teams, this is all the teams that have been shared with me. These are my teams. I can create a new team if I would like. I can also join an existing team from the university that's within Microsoft Teams. We'll go back to this and we'll show you how to create a team and how to use a team. We have assignments. So these are any things that have tasks that have been created within Teams. I can have assignments. I have my calendar. So my Teams calendar actually syncs with Outlook, which is really nice. So I can see everything that's on my Outlook calendar in Teams. I can join Teams meetings virtual meetings directly from this calendar. I also can schedule a new meeting, and this is really great. I'll show you really quickly. This is not so much about project management, but if you want to create a new meeting, you have the option to do everything here that you need to set up a meeting in Outlook. But there's really cool features, like if you search for someone's name, it tells me what suggested times they might be available, and I can change the times. This is a really cool feature for just managing meetings and things within Teams. Whenever I send this meeting request through my Teams app on my desktop, it's going to send Megan, who I'm sending this to, we get a link where she could just join directly. So this is a really cool feature if you're using Teams and scheduling meetings. Then we have calls. Oops, I'm going to discard this. You have this calls icon. So this is all the calls that you've made. You can see the calls you've made in the past. This is also where you can just call someone directly. And then we have files. So these are files that I have used. I have created and shared through Microsoft Teams and OneDrive because Teams is synced with OneDrive. And then if you see this three little button icon here, if you click on that, I can find other apps that can be integrated with Microsoft Teams. So Task, Microsoft Bookings, Approvals, which is a really cool tool. Any of these tools that we have with our Microsoft subscription, you have access to and you can use from Teams. All right, so let's talk about project management. One of the greatest features of Microsoft Teams is the ability to actually create a team, set up an environment for specific people, and then within that environment, you can do things like create channels. Within those channels, you can have calendars, you can have task lists, you can assign people different things. I'm going to show you how specifically my supervisor and myself, we have an OIT communications team set up for our group. And then that is where we manage all of our projects. We decided during quarantine to switch over from an outside project management tool specifically to Teams because Teams gave us the capability of OneDrive file storage, so we can store all of our files in Teams. No longer did we need to store files in Box or Google Drive, which we don't have anymore. But also communication, we have minimal emails that we send back and forth to each other. All of our communication is in Microsoft Teams. We also have the ability to set up tasks and calendar specifically for projects. I'm going to show you all what that looks like. So these are all the teams that I'm a part of, but the team I want to show you how we have things set up is this OIT communications team. So when you click on this team, or when I click on this team, you're going to see a couple of different things. You're going to see the team here, and then you're going to see all of these subcategories. These are all called channels. A good practice before you decide to use Teams for project management would be to think about how you want your team to be set up and structured. Megan, my supervisor, and I decided that we wanted a team that held all of our projects we were working on. So what we did, we have an OIT communications team, and then each channel within that team is an actual project that we're working on. So for this is just our general channel. This is where we post just general content. You see here we have some information from our students. We can chat with each other. But then we also have all these other channels. Adobe Ambassador, Adobe Creative Space, Adobe Day. These are all projects that we're working on together and with other people. This helps us keep our communication for each project in its own location. So no longer are Megan and I communicating back and forth via email about multiple projects. We only communicate about a project within its assigned channel. This made a huge difference in the way we can collaborate and work together, because no longer do I have to go back through my emails and see maybe where she commented something or sent me some information, nor does she ever have to go back and find a file that I sent her to approve. Everything related to these project topics are going to be in this channel. We made a very specific rule for each other that even in the chat feature outside of our team and our channel, we never comment or share information about a project unless it's in that project channel. Okay, I'm going to stop for a minute and see if anyone has any questions, because I feel like I'm throwing a lot of stuff out there. No questions? Okay, good. So you have a team, you have channels. Some of the things that we decided to do for our Microsoft Teams environment, since we're using it for project management, was to migrate and move all of our content that we had stored in UA Box to Microsoft Teams. So I'm not sure if anyone in this training has ever used OneDrive, but I previously had OneDrive set up on my computer, where I have this OneDrive file. It's on my machine. Anything I save in these files is moved to OneDrive, which is a cloud environment. So I can access my files that are in OneDrive on my desktop. After you do that, once you install Microsoft Teams, you can actually save files within channels. And whenever you do that, you can sync it to your OneDrive account. And what happens is that any file that you save in a channel, let me show you. So we have this in, I'm just going to pick on cybersecurity. Let's do print pieces. Okay, so this is a channel, print pieces, and you can see here at the top I have posts, which is going to be the communication that my supervisor and I share. And then if I click on files, I can see any file that I've added to this folder. So these are pieces that I've uploaded to this folder. But what's really great about Teams is that if I click this sync icon here, and I go back to my File Explorer, now I am using a PC, so this would look a little different on Mac. Under OneDrive here, which is where I save all of my files that are moved to the cloud or in the cloud, if I scroll down, I see this little icon that says University of Alabama. Every time I sync a channel or a team, I'm going to have a folder here on my desktop where I can access those files directly that are stored into that team. So for instance, let's go to print pieces. So anything here on my desktop is also synced to my team. Well, if my supervisor or whoever else is in this channel does that as well, we're file sharing through Teams, right? So I never have to upload anything to Teams and files. I can just save it to my desktop into the folder that syncs to my Teams, and then it shows up here. So anything that I upload here, my supervisor, anyone else who has access to that channel also has access to. This is really great because it allows us to collaborate on files. We're not emailing files back and forth. We can actually work in things and edit in real time. So if you have a file here, I don't think any of these are Microsoft Word documents, but if you have a file here that was a Microsoft Word document, you could, or Excel, you could actually open it up. It would open it up in Teams and you could edit together in real time. And any edits that you make in Teams would save to your computer or your hard drive, your desktop. So that's really helpful. And what we did, because we had so many files in UA Box, is that every time that we decided we had to work on a new project, we would make a new channel and we would move existing files over from UA Box and just put it into a file location in that channel, and then we would work in that channel only in those files, if that makes sense. So we've been able to completely move from UA Box to stored all of our files in Teams. So I'm going to go through and just show you some more examples of how we use our channels for project management. I'm going to find a good example.
I have one.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you add the link to your PC for the OneDrive?
Okay, so you can install OneDrive really easily. You'll have to go to office.com. You can log into your Office account online, and then you can install OneDrive, and it walks you through a setup process. We actually have some links on our OIT website. We have some tutorial videos on our YouTube channel that shows you exactly how to do that. So it's really easy to get OneDrive set up. The good thing about having OneDrive set up on your machine is that anything that you save in OneDrive on your machine, it automatically pushes into the cloud. So you don't have to actually go to OneDrive.com and upload things to the cloud like you might have to with Google Docs or UA Box. Yep. And then, like I said, once you have OneDrive installed, you can just click the sync button on any new channel, and it's going to sync all the files to your computer. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about project management. I'm going to specifically, I think this might be a good folder to show you guys. Okay, so when we thought about using Teams for project management, we really sat down before we set things up and thought about how do we want to make sure this environment is effective for the way we're conducting our projects. A lot of the projects that we work on are print pieces, communications, events. So one downfall, or not downfall, but one of the benefits of emailing in Outlook is that you can easily search for keywords and emails pop up that are associated with those keywords. You can do that in Microsoft Teams, but because it's more of a chat feature, it's going to pull up a lot of chats. You might not find the exact conversation you're looking for. It might take a little bit of time. I know a lot of people don't like Teams because of that reason. But Megan and I wanted to make sure we set up a system where we could easily go back to conversations and find exactly what we've talked about, what we've asked each other for, things we've approved and things we haven't. And the way we did that is that we decided, already told you guys that we're only going to talk about projects in their right place, right? So we only talk about print pieces in this print piece channel. And then we took it one step further, and we decided that we would only have strings of conversations about a project in one area. I know that probably made no sense what I was trying to say. But what you can do is you can start a conversation. So each channel has this post feature. You can start a new conversation, and if you click on this little format button here, you can give a conversation a title, then you can type text. You can edit options where everyone can reply or only certain people can reply. And then you have to add somebody to tag them. And then what we have decided to do is that whenever we start a new conversation about something to do with the project, let's say print pieces, we want to talk about webcam covers. We only talk about webcam covers in this string of text, right? So I'm going to show you the communication that we've had between each other. So I posted the content here. We've posted images for Megan to edit. She's commented things back. So everything that we have done with this project that was a print marketing piece has only been communicated here in this conversation. So what this does for us is that if I need to go back next week, a year from now, and I need to find anything that we talked about with the webcam cover content, I can go to this conversation, this one post that has a bunch of replies. You can see we did that here with Bama Bound Rat Card. Anything that Megan and I have communicated about this Bama Bound Rat card was only commented in this conversation, not in email, not in a different group, not a different channel, not in a different team, only here. This keeps us from having to search through Teams to find content, to find communication, to find conversations. Everything's grouped together. Let me show you another example. So this cybersecurity awareness. And a lot of times our channels, they're not so much projects, or they are maybe like an initiative. So we have cybersecurity awareness is an ongoing initiative, something that we deal with each all year long, but we treat this like a larger project. And then within this, we have the things that we're working on, smaller projects. So cybersecurity graphics for presentation, everything's here. We share proofs here. The proofs are approved by her. We share edits. Everything's here. And the cool thing is once this graphic is done, everything's already in the files folder here that Megan can easily access, or anybody else has access to this team can access and use, because I'm working from my desktop, but I'm using the files that are located here. So I can store Photoshop files, InDesign files, video files, anything that I want to store, I can store in this file area under the channel. I'm going to show you one channel that we use with our students. So this is a student projects channel. This is another good example of how we use our channel and kind of group communications together. You can see we have students, we'll assign them projects, and then they can keep all of the information here. So our students are never having to go back and look through emails and try to figure out what we assigned them, what we didn't, what they have to do. Everything is here. They can easily go in and check out this content. You can also do things like pin conversations, so they always show up. They never kind of fall back as time passes. That's a really good tool. But I want to show you guys something else that you can do with your channel. So within your channels, you have the option to post and communicate. You have the option to upload files, but you can also add other apps to your channels. If you click this plus sign at the top, you can see this add tab. You can search for any of the apps we have access to on Microsoft Teams O365. So one of the things that you might want to use is a channel calendar. We have used this channel calendar where we create a calendar that's specific for like a social media channel, and then our students can go in and kind of coordinate what days they want to do what on social media. Anybody that has access to that channel can access that calendar and look at it and review it. You also can share, add PowerPoint, different things. But one of the apps that I really enjoy adding to each channel is this Task by Planner. So there's already one added here. I've actually renamed it to Videos to Create, because this is our Beyond Animation Projects channel where we talk about all the animation videos that we want to create for our YouTube channel. So I've added this here. If I click on it, you can see that now within my channel, I have a way to post specific tasks that I can assign to people. I can add due dates. I can check these off whenever they're done. I can see all the tasks that we've completed. Anyone that has access to this channel has the ability to add or complete or, view these tasks. You can do things like, let's see, let's add a task. So I've actually created buckets here. So I have topics within my task list for this channel. So if I want to add a new task, I can assign this task. I'm going to assign it to one of our students. I can set a due date. And then if I click add task, that task has now been added to her. So she will receive an activity notification via her Teams that lets her know she has a new task. She'll also receive an email to her UA Crimson email address that lets her know that she has a new task. If I click on this task, I can do things like add extra content. So a lot of times what we do is we might talk about a project in the post section, right? Maybe I talk with my student, I say, we need this video, it needs to say this, X, Y, and Z, can you do this? She says yes. From there, I'll go and actually create a task and assign it to her. I can add a label, I can change the bucket that it's in, I can assign her a priority so she knows how important or not important it is. I can also add notes and comments. So if I wanted to add a full description of what the transcript or what the content should look like in the video, I can add it there. I can add attachments. I can also add specific checklists for an item. So let's say I need her to do 3 different things before she creates the video. I can add all of that there. She has access to all of this, so she can check through as she completes it. And it also dates every comment that I'm making. Whenever she checks off an item, it will tell me what date she checked it off. So this is a really great way to keep other people in the team organized. I'm going to delete this. So this has been really helpful for us. We have this on most of our channels. For print pieces, I don't have it there, but a lot of our channels, we have this so we can just keep track of what our tasks are and how they're to be completed. If you go back over to the left-hand side and you click on this icon, I'm going to click on Task by Planner. Outside of my team, if I click on this Task by Planner, I can actually see all the tasks that have been assigned to me from different teams and different channels. So there's different teams here that you can see, but I can scroll through and I can see which tasks have been assigned as important. There's none that's been assigned as important, but I can see all my tasks here. Oops, go back. And I can check through them here also. Okay, so far we've talked about teams, channels, files, tasks, and calendars. We've also talked about how we coordinate our communication, where we're only communicating about certain topics in certain streams of text. And then we've talked about OneDrive a little bit. Does anyone have any questions so far? Or have any thoughts about how you could use Teams for your projects that I can answer for you? No? Okay, great. So I know our examples are a little different because it's just a couple of us in our department that work together on very specific tasks. I have worked on helping other people or other groups set up their Teams channels, and they've had a couple of questions like, what if I need someone outside of my department to access this channel? Or what if I don't want them to have access to the team, but they have access to the channel? There's a couple of things you have to remember when you're setting up teams and channels. You can only assign people access to a channel if they have access to the team. So you could do something like, if you needed a team for a marketing project that you're working with someone in a different department on, you could set up a team for that specific marketing project. Maybe the project's between OIT and AtCard. So I could add people from AtCard that I'm working with to my team. And then from there, I can build out channels. If I've created the team and I'm an admin on this team, I can click on more options beside each channel, and I can click on manage the channel. I didn't create this one. Let's go back. Well, I'm trying to find. So I can edit the name. I was trying to find where I can actually add more people. Here we go. Okay. So I can add a member to my team. And then all I have to do to add a member to my team is to search for someone's UA email address. Their name will pop up. And if I click on it, and they're going to be added to this channel so they can work within this channel. Okay, so let's go back and I'm going to show you, since you've seen what channels and teams look like, we're going to talk about how you can join or create a team. So from Microsoft Teams, you'll just click on this Teams icon, and then when you do, you'll see all of your teams, 33. But from here, you can click on Join or Create Team. You can create a team from scratch. You can join a team with the code. So if someone has a team and they want you to access it, and it's a very specific team, they can give you a code, you can enter it, or you can search for teams that are public. But I'm going to show you how to create a team. So let's create a team. It's just going to ask you a few questions. I'm just going to say this is staff. We're going to name the team. Give it a description. And then privacy. So you can change this to where only team owners can add members. I would suggest doing this if this is for project management, within your group or within your department, but you can also make this team public. We have a few public teams. So we have a IT student forum team that we have created for any student that wants to be involved in IT on campus. They can join our IT student forum team. They can search for the team and find it, but anyone can join. They can come in, they can comment, share files, do things like that. We're going to make this private. You can create a team using an existing team as a template. This is really great if you want to duplicate a project that you've already worked on, or a team that you're collaborating with someone and you need a new team, you can duplicate it. Let's click next. And then I can start adding people to my team. So if I wanted to type their names, I can start adding them, or you saw how I did a second ago, I can create the team, set it up, and then later on go in and click on those three dots and add people that way. I'm going to skip this step. So now I have a team. So this is my general team. Each team is set up with a general tab. Again, this is where you saw where we were posting just student schedules. This is where we post if we're going to be out for the day, or maybe we can't get something done. But if you want to add new channels, you'll just click on this more option. You'll click add channel, and then you'll just name your channel. And then privacy, this is where you can change either everyone on the team has access, or you can turn it to private and only specific people have access to this team. So I'm going to change this to standard. And this is important. Automatically show this channel on everyone's channel list. If you don't have that option selected, sometimes new channels won't show up on their channel list. It'll have like an icon at the bottom that it will say view more. So I always like to automatically show this in their channel list, because anytime I make an edit to my team or add a new channel, anyone who's a part of that team, I want them to see it so they can click on that channel and check out what's in there. So I'm going to add. And then you can see now I have this new project channel. I can start a new post with a new conversation, automatically have this files list here. I can upload files, I can sync it. I can also copy this link. So this works like OneDrive. So any file that's in my Teams folder, or if I want to copy a link to the entire folder, I can copy this and I can share with people so they can also open the files and view the files. Notebook is also built in. So you actually have an option where you can take notes. That's another app. And then again, you have access to all the apps. So each channel you can customize based on what the needs of that project or that channel are. There's lots of apps here. So it can be different for each project. Anything that you do to one channel doesn't automatically assign those options to a different channel. And then if you want to delete a channel, you just click on this and you can delete this channel. I want to go back and show you guys, go back to our channel, my OIT Communications Team channel, and I want to show you how you receive notifications in your channel. So I mentioned that we have almost 99% cut out email between everyone on our team. The only time we email each other is if we are having to, copy each other on email that we're communicating with someone else on. But the way you receive notifications in Team, it's a little different than you would Outlook. So you have this activity log. Anytime you get a new notification or someone tags you in something or a new channel's created, you'll see this in your activity log here. And then if you notice, there's a couple of ats, an at symbol here in Teams. If I'm working in Teams and I want someone to see a message and the message is specifically to them, I have to at and then type in their name. So let me go here to OIT training sessions. I'm going to create a new conversation and I'm going to title this. All right, so I'm going to start typing. And then I can tag as many people as I want. So I'm going to tag Megan, and you see as I type her name, pops up. If I type somebody's name who's not in this channel, they actually can't see the comment because they don't have access to my channel because my channel is private. But I'm going to type in my student's name. So I can tag as many people as I want in this channel. And then I'm going to post this. So since I've posted this and I've tagged Megan and Ariana, they're going to receive notifications and activity that they have a comment that they've been tagged in. Also, their channel is going to light up bold. So on their channels list, you can see here, Megan sent something. The channel's bolded, so I knew there's activity there. But Megan and Ariana received a direct communication from me. Now, Madison's also a part of this team and this channel, so she can go to this channel and she can see all of our communications here. She can read through everything. She can see all the files that I've shared, but she knows that the comment that or the question I asked or the comment I left was not for her. It was specifically for Megan and Ariana. This is super helpful working in a team because I can easily see, for example, if Megan assigns one of our students a project, trying to find one here. Or let's say okay, this is a good example. I assigned two of our students a project and I did not tag Megan in the comment. I didn't ask her a question, but because she's a part of our channel, she was easy to see. She was able to see this and then comment on it. This helps us keep up with what everyone else is working on. It also helps me as a designer to go back and see the communications or what the thought process was for getting to a point. Maybe I wasn't included on it, but it's a whole lot more helpful than having to go through emails and see emails that I've been CC'd on, or have someone, have to email me something that they talked about outside of the assignment that I've been given to create something as far as a design file goes. So anytime there's activity in a channel, you'll see it light up. If you've been tagged in something, you'll get a notification that you have a specific comment that's been added to you. I'm going to go to social media. You can see again, this is lit up. It's because at 10 a.m. Megan commented something to one of our students, but it wasn't tagged to me, so I did not get an @ symbol show up beside the channel. It's very helpful. Okay, so that was a really quick overview of Teams and how we use it for project management. I left a lot of time at the end of the session so we could all chat maybe. I wanted to see if anybody had any questions. I know, again, the way we're using Teams is very specific. It works for our office. I know a lot of people on campus have different ways they're working on projects and they're working with different people. We can help you figure out how to set up your team. I do think, and I said this at the beginning, one of the best practices for using Teams for project management is really to sit down as a group and kind of decide what are your needs, what are the things that are important for you, and then figuring out how teams can work for you in that way. One of our biggest things, again, was that file management system. We had been using UA Box for a very long time, and all of our files were already organized in projects on UA Box, and we wanted a way to integrate our communication and our project management with those files. So there was no confusion about where the final file was, where the design file was. We wanted everything to be organized where you could easily go to a channel, see what was happening with that project, go to files, find the files, and even have a task list where, I can check in on the students or Megan can check in, or we can assign tasks and just see where everyone is with projects. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. We'll just go to comments. Let's see, chat. Are there any questions in the chat? Okay, so someone said, do tasks sync to Outlook? Yes, they do. You have to set that up in Outlook. So whenever you go to Outlook, I think you have to go to Outlook and then you find your task settings, and you can have it set up where those tasks pull into Outlook. You also will get emails from Teams. If you haven't been active in a team and someone's tagged you in something and you haven't opened it for, I forget the time limit, but you will get an email that says, hey, Victoria Collins tagged you in something on Teams. So you do receive some notifications from Teams if they think, Teams doesn't think you're being active and you have some things waiting on you. So someone asked, can Teams have different collaborators? No. So I guess that's the part that gets tricky. You have to have people. So everyone has to be a part of the team. I can make certain channels private. I can exclude people from channels, but I can't add someone outside of a team to a channel, if that makes sense. So if I have 15 people that I want to be a part of the team, I can make certain channels where, 4 people can't view that channel, only maybe 6, but I cannot add someone outside of the team to a specific channel. For using Teams with file sharing, is there anything departments should consider? Like, yes, I definitely think so. So, because anyone in your team would have access to the files that you've shared in your team. If there were files that you didn't want to share via Teams, I would suggest just using OneDrive, and you can still collaborate from OneDrive. So one of the cool things about OneDrive is I can go to OneDrive online. I can open up my files. I can also access them on my desktop, but I can collaborate with files with certain people via OneDrive. So this is outside of Teams, because Teams and OneDrive might get confusing paired together. But let me go to my OneDrive and I'm going to show you. So let's say I have a specific file that maybe I did not need everyone in my team to see, but I needed Megan to review it. And I would trust that she would review it and obviously not share it. All of my files are saved in OneDrive. So I have my OneDrive set up on my computer where anything that is in my documents, desktop, music, pictures, everything goes to OneDrive. So I would go to my documents and let's just, these are very old. Okay, let's just say, these are old. I have a file, this file, so Word document I want to share with Megan. Since this is OneDrive, I can right click on this file. I can click on share, the share icon here. And then I'm going to have some options pop up on how I can share this file. Again, this is OneDrive, not Microsoft Teams. So I can email this to a specific person. And this is anyone that has a UA email address I can share with, Megan Bennett. I can specify who they can view it. So like if I click here, I can say anyone with this link can view, anyone that has a university email address, people with existing access, or specific people, which is what I have. I can give them the option to allow editing or not allow editing. And then she can, whenever it gets to her, I can have it where she can open it in review mode only. So the great thing about OneDrive is that if you open a file in OneDrive, you have access to the ability to edit using Word, PowerPoint, Excel all online. But let's say I don't want anyone to open and edit the file. I just want them to review it. I can click apply. I can add a message if I want to, but then I can copy this link and then I can email this to her, and only she can open this file. Even if somebody else gets this link, only the person that has her email address and is logged into OneDrive Online can access this file. So that's the way that I would suggest sharing any kind of files that had FERPA or HIPAA information, or that was related to FERPA, HIPAA. Okay, so somebody else says, does Teams offer the same level of file security as UA Box? So the only people that can access the files in your team are the people that you've shared those files with. Um, and then you can set up a team where if you're the owner of the team, that only you have access to add people. So if you set up a team and you said, I want these 3 people to be added to this file, to this team, those people don't have access to add, people to those to the team. But I guess they could still, download the file, save it, and share it. But again, I would just use OneDrive. Any more questions? Anyone have any questions about how you think you could use Teams, or how your office is currently doing something that you might like to see Teams help you? No? Okay. So again, this was just a quick walkthrough of how we're using Teams to manage projects. Again, we have other Teams training. So if you just want a little more knowledge on the different things that Teams can do, I say contact me. We have a Microsoft rep at hand that we could easily schedule trainings for Teams and how to use Teams. There's some other really great tools that they've actually added in, like polls and things that you can use within Teams. So if you have any questions, please let me know. If you want to sit down and work on how to set up Teams for project management, just let me know. I'd be happy to help. But if that's it, I hope you guys have a good day. And if you have any more questions, just email me at vlcollins3. I'll add my email here in the chat. Feel free to contact me. I hope everyone has a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.